You hear the line constantly. Companies can't just take away what you bought. Well, this week we got yet another reminder that they most certainly can. The official Funimation End of Services announcement is live. I'll drop the link to the full FAQ below, but to quote the answer regarding digital copies on Funimation, we understand that you may have concerns about your digital copies from Funimation. These digital copies, available on Funimation, were a digital access to the content available on the DVDs or Blu-rays purchased. Please note that Crunchyroll does not currently support Funimation digital copies, which means that access to previously available digital copies will not be supported.
And it's gone!
However, we are continuously working to enhance our content offerings and provide you with an exceptional anime streaming experience.
What the fuck?
We appreciate your understanding and encourage you to explore the extensive anime library available on Crunchyroll. End quote. Refunds? What are refunds?
You will never get your fucking money back.
Please be excited.
So how many shows weren't transferred to Crunchyroll?
Now this isn't really the point of the video, as you can probably tell by the title, so I'll keep it short. But there are a few important things to highlight about the merger, transfer, and the shutdown of Funimation. It's difficult to confirm all of this currently, and it definitely varies depending on your region. But I did it anyway, or at least I did the closest semi-reasonable thing possible. I compiled the two most extensive lists I could get a hold of, match cutting and alphabetizing all entries, and made a color-coded confirmation checklist for availability in the US, since that's where I'm at and that's where I expect the majority of my audience to be. Shout out to Web Gaming for allowing me to use his research, and shout out to 331 and the folks floating around the Crunchyroll Discord for making their list openly available. I will leave the compiled list linked in all of its details below, and I'll leave the original list from the Discord as well, since it still has links. Anyway, I'm basically just filling time to let the entire list float across the screen, but I thought that this could be a useful historical marker to stick in the ground. You're of course free to copy it and continue updating or whatever if you want. Keep in mind, some of these are subs or dubs only, some are partials, some are OVAs, some censored only, blah blah blah. Most of them are at least one full season of anime. I think you'll see a few more reasons why this is relevant later, as it concerns licensing as well. Anyway, as of February 17th, 2024, I was only able to mark 61 of the 324 total entries in this combined list as simply currently available for streaming in the US. Therefore, we know of around 263 entries which have yet to be relicensed and or transferred in all their glory to Crunchyroll for streaming in the US.
It's gone. It's all gone.
Even though Crunchyroll assured us otherwise.
You lying ass bitch.
I believe the tagline was, all your anime, all in one place. Of course, if they get it their way, it'll be your only anime in the only place.
Working together to give you less.
These are really beginning to take on new meanings, huh? They've claimed that they're continuing to work on all of this, but here's the unfortunate truth. Due to the fickle nature of legality and licensing and contractual obligations, progress has slowed and it's unlikely much more will change on this front. I'm sure that Crunchyroll and Sony are hoping that you just forget about all this. As for the alleged price bump, however, that's actually total misinformation. The $100 sub quoted in the viral tweet that keeps getting mentioned is indeed for the Mega Fan subscription, and you would know that if you had scrolled down, I don't know, 2 reply tweets?
I'm kind of retarded.
Don't feel bad though. I would have also got this wrong if I hadn't sat on the script for an extra day. It's almost like making a vlog the moment you hear news is extremely stupid clout-seeking behavior and naturally leads to spreading misinformation. Shout out to Otaku Spirit for being one of the only anime vlogging channels worth watching today, because he actually does 5 seconds of research before posting a video.
That's high praise.
And actually corrects himself if he gets something wrong.
It's really easy to find the truth if you just go to the tweet and actually read what the guy says, but nobody likes to do that anymore. We all love misinformation and feeding into outrage.
2 months later.
Beep, beep, beep! Oh, sorry, what's that? Oh, that's just a you can't make this shit up alarm!
I couldn't make this shit up. I couldn't make this shit up if I tried. I'm sad that I lack the talent to make this shit up.
They've made a liar out of me.
Yes, Crunchyroll has announced that they are increasing their subscription costs of the Mega Plan and Ultra Fan tiers, not the regular standard tier. At the time, they got some clarification that no, we don't have any plans right now, but they probably already had a plan to come out. So in the US, Argentina, Colombia, France, Portugal, and other select countries, the price of the Mega Fan and the Ultimate Fan is going up. The Mega Fan is going from $9.99 to $11.99 a month. Ultimate Fan is going from $14.99 to $15.99. Yes, both the annual and the regular are going to be going up, the monthly and the annual. I don't know why. I guess they're just trying to bank in on the big fans. There is specific perks for those two plans. That's probably the reason why it's going up. I couldn't say for sure. They're not going to say why the price is going up. I would assume that some cases they can if it's like a shipping issue or something like that. If one of those plans has some sort of shipping thing. Either way, the prices are going up. It's obviously going to be the same cost that you've already paid until it ends, at which point you're going to have to go up. You're going to go up on your next charge of the annual plan. And yes, it's the case for the monthly as well. So additionally, ANN has reported that they also are decreasing the trial period from 14 days down to 7 days of free viewing. So it looks like that's finally shifting as well. They're kind of condensing it down so that way you have less free and more cost, which is unfortunately kind of the thing across the entire spectrum. Everything right now is going up. So unfortunately, it was inevitability. We had High Dive here recently. They're going up on their subscription costs, which I think I reported last time we did a news bit. So fortunately for regular fans, it seems like that's not happening yet. You can expect it in the future probably as well, but for now it's $7.99. So
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Let me know if you have any others worth keeping up with. Anyway, you can read the FAQ below if you want, as well as the email you should have received if you were a Funimation subscriber. But that's not really the point of this video. Businesses get balled out, servers get shut down, and you get screwed either way. Whether it's video games or anime, if you don't have physical media or torrents, you don't own jack shit. It can be taken away from you at any time.
People want to roll their eyes at that, like, oh, they're gonna shut the servers down, come on. But like, Generations is very optimistic. These companies want to shut down their old servers as soon as they can get away with it, period.
Yeah. We all know that. It's not some like tight-lipped secret. When you purchase a digital copy of something, you don't really own anything. You're just granted permission to access it because you paid the admission fee. But it can be taken away from you at any time for any reason. If your account gets banned, or if the service shuts down, or if the license deal expires, it can leave and you just lose access to it. Even though you paid for it, you don't really own anything besides just like their word that you can use it. And that can be taken away at any time. And you just gotta put that in your pipe and smoke it with a smile on your face and say, "Thanks, Corpo, may I have some more?"
All you have is an entirely temporary license to watch or play the product, to do so for as long as the publisher sees fit, and to do so how the publisher sees fit. Usually in the most deeply controlled manner they can possibly facilitate. Now maybe I'll regret what I'm about to say. Unforeseen consequences, thinking out loud and all that. I'm also definitely talking in generalities when I say the following. I don't necessarily wish to equate taking away access to fully digital purchases with taking away digital copies bundled with physical anime sets. But generally speaking, maybe, just maybe, this type of thing should just be criminalized. I'm not sure I really care what's in the fine print of your license contract and terms of service. If I bought a good from your company, neither you nor another company buying you out should be able to just take it away without real consequences. I repeat, real consequences, not a slap on the wrist and an irrelevant fine.
2 weeks later.
over here, you're paying and you're getting access to it whenever you want. You don't have to keep paying for it. You get access to it whenever you want. Now he's saying, we're gonna give you a discount for a sub.
Amazing.
What that's saying is that we're gonna give you a little discount, but then if you keep wanting to access it, we're gonna start charging you. Thus, you're paying more over time to keep accessing it. Web Gaming, friend of mine, sent an email. He's got 50 anime titles that he got through Funimation. 50. And what they give him? 3 months free of the Mega Fan plan.
Don't forget to pick up your free gift. It's our way of saying thank you. Actually, it's our way of saying bend over just a little further.
But again, after that, you don't get access to those 50 anymore. Even if those 50 are even on the platform.
All sales are final. Some items not available. Some restrictions may apply.
At the very least, you would think there would be some form of standard compensation practice if this is truly just an inevitable outcome of the very existence of digital products and services. But I think we all know that would assume the government is interested in protecting individual rights.
You serious?
You can say what you want about this country, and I love this place. I love the freedoms we used to have.
The saddest part is, disregarding some exceptions I'll explain later, you can't even get physical copies of said media without supporting the same utterly corrupt companies who want it to be this way. This will be relevant later. There are obviously all sorts of other issues with price and availability. Netflix doesn't even want you to have access to physical copies. They'd rather you just subscribe, so they simply don't make physical products available, leaving you with no choice but to subscribe if you want to watch their exclusive anime legally. Been waiting on a US physical release of Cyberpunk Edgerunners? Wait no more, my friend. It ain't coming. Your only option is to order the Japanese Blu-ray.
I'm going to go to this chart here. It's from the Fandom Post website. Crunchyroll solicitations. It's absolutely insane how much has yet to be released on home video by Crunchyroll. And at least 50% of these releases, or maybe even higher than that, do have English dubs. They're streaming on Crunchyroll, but they don't have a physical DVD or Blu-ray release whatsoever. It's dating back to winter 2020. Now, certain shows didn't stream very well. Funimation used to release them on Blu-ray without any major special features or a limited edition version or anything like that, but they'll still put it on home video, maybe even on their Save Edition line or the Essentials line. It's still got a home video release. And for them to have all these releases with like no physical release is alarming when it comes to future anime stuff being released on DVD and Blu-ray. Chainsaw Man is almost 2 years old and there's no physical release as far as the Region 1 territories whatsoever. It's insane. Another weird one is Masamune-kun's Revenge. Season 1 was never released on home video and they dubbed Season 2 recently, so are they going to release Season 1 and then Season 2 on Blu-ray? Who the fuck knows? I don't really like this whole just having all this stuff just be behind a streaming jail. It's kind of similar to what Netflix used to do when they license anime and they, pay for the dub and etc. and it's just a Netflix jail. No home video, physical release whatsoever. Luckily, with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 6, the Stone Ocean season, they was able to still partner with Viz and be able to put out that Blu-ray. So that escaped Netflix streaming jail. But what about, look at this. This is almost like over 50 titles that have yet to see a physical release whatsoever. I don't like this direction. It's very alarming for me to get excited about a Crunchyroll anime license and to know that feeling of like, are they going to put this on Blu-ray? Are we going to get a Blu-ray release? Are we going to get a DVD release? Are we going to get some kind of physical media release for these anime properties? I like to collect and own the anime that I'm really interested in and I really like and enjoy. Digital only sucks. Digital only does not work. I just want to have my physical DVD or Blu-ray. Come on, Crunchyroll, step it up. Step your game up. Go back to the days in the Funimation days. They were putting out about 14 releases a month. It seems like overkill, but it was a good way to kind of smash out their backlog. Now their backlog is just fucking crazy.
Of course, there's also all the stuff I could get into about algorithmic recommendations being prioritized over things like relevant search results that admit when you don't have a show, that detect both English and Japanese titles consistently, that feature sorting, filtering, and, I don't know, a real search results page. I could talk about the lack of playback features available elsewhere, such as custom playback speed and subs with dubs. I could discuss the multitude of issues that come along with not only Crunchyroll, but literally every official streaming service available. But that's not what I want to talk about today either, because this isn't just a doom post. There are lots of things I'd like to flesh out in individual videos eventually, but the one useful item of true relevance I can provide you regarding this subject is this. I've been around the block long enough to know that you probably have more options than you realize, and I'd like it to stay that way if at all possible. So here's a quick rundown of how to explore all the options I know of that are available, both official and unofficial. If I leave anything out, hey, that's what the comment section is for. So first off, obviously there are your US publishers, your Crunchyrolls, your Sentai Filmworks, your Aniplex,
your Discotech Media,
your Well actually, Nozomi Entertainment was a part of Right Stuff before the buyout, so now they're just another subsidiary of Sony and Crunchyroll. I know I'm going a little off the rails already, but remember when I said you'd have no choice but to support this company? Yep. Anyway, do I really need to explain this? Sony owns Crunchyroll and Aniplex, AMC owns Sentai Filmworks and High Dive. You know how to buy American Blu-rays through the same streaming providers everyone already knows about, and now you know where your money's going. Your second, official, physical option would of course be to order from outside of the country, primarily from the UK or Japan. Now much like with less official means, I imagine a lot of people are already scared and confused by this prospect, but I promise you can figure it out. It's really not even that difficult to find a hardware unlocked DVD or Blu-ray player anymore. You can actually order one straight from Amazon, with many models even shipping straight from their warehouses. Just make sure, especially if you order from a third-party seller, that you read the reviews, and not just for the product, but for the seller as well. You might end up paying a little bit more for a good product from a good seller, but you don't want to be ordering a hardware modified player from a shady store that doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't care about proper packaging. As my boss at the marketing company used to say, you can buy it nice or you can buy it twice. Words to live by. If your device is anything like mine when it arrives, it will come with instructions that explain a process, such as opening the disc player and pressing a color-coded button on your remote to unlock a specific region. But I've read some newer models may be even simpler than that. By the way, if you're into that kind of stuff, not only will this allow you to watch Japanese and UK imported anime, you can also watch imported westerns, French noir movies, British documentaries, etc. Your imagination is the limit. Once you've unlocked this real-life cheat code, you'll start to realize you can buy a lot of shows much cheaper on Amazon UK as well. Have you seen the prices for American Aniplex releases? Well, the EU releases might not always be as fancy, but they are substantially cheaper. This is how I started collecting the Monogatari series, because I was not about to pay $150 for one season of anime. Many European DVDs and Blu-rays, Psycho-Pass for example, even come with the official English dubs if you care, and at nearly half the price at that. But obviously, you'll want to check each show for yourself. Then there are, of course, your official streaming services. Crunchyroll, HiDive, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, and here's a list from Google.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Honestly, who cares?
Not interested.
There's also a surprising amount of anime you can watch for free on YouTube. Nozomi Entertainment does still have a YouTube channel, don't tell Crunchyroll, where you can watch a few great series to completion. Aria the Animation, His and Her Circumstances, Revolutionary Girl Utena, Irresponsible Captain Tyler, Sound of the Sky, Martian Successor Nadesco, and a bunch of others. Totally free, straight from the source.
Ahoy, mateys! Yo ho ho, yo ho ho ho. Piracy is immoral, it's absolutely true. Nonetheless.
Now before we move on to less official means, I won't be teaching you what websites to go to here. There are plenty of resources floating around on YouTube, Reddit, 4chan, etc. But if you are too dumb or too old to use the internet, I am happy to help in the comments. Just keep in mind that I'll probably be deleting said replies afterwards. I ain't no rat.
Not something I'm advocating for, I'm just talking about the reality of the situation that we're in now.
I am, however, going to quickly explain how to go about idiot-proofing your computer and browser for free. The first thing you'll want to do is download and install Bitdefender. You can also try and install Malwarebytes as well if you want, but Bitdefender does a fine job of protecting you by itself these days. If you do choose to install both, make sure to install Malwarebytes last, or Bitdefender will bully you into uninstalling it before you can finish Bitdefender's installation, claiming that they conflict with each other or something. Secondly are your browser extensions. Your browser is your choice, but personally I typically default to Brave, an open source browser based on Chromium. Either way, you'll want to install uBlock Origin, Pop-up Blocker Strict, and optionally, I like to have WOT Website Security and Safety Checker. It can be really helpful with deciding which links are safe to click on with these easily readable little green check marks. This is of course especially helpful when targeting relatively niche or suspicious search queries. Lastly, you really should have a VPN. I don't have a sponsorship yet, but I personally go with NordVPN these days. They've got some awesome extra features, but most importantly, they've got awesome network speeds. As a perfectly fine budget option, you might also go with Surfshark instead. Obviously, one of the coolest perks is being able to watch shows that are available outside of your region. As far as torrent clients go, I'll throw a few on screen here, but I personally just stick with Old Faithful. uTorrent 2.2.1. Allegedly! This version is older than time itself, but it doesn't have any ads or any of the unsavory features that modern versions have. Anyway, why fix perfection? Oh yeah, and if you like casting to your smart TV or Chromecast or whatever, you should download the Web Video Caster app. I recommend paying for the premium upgrade since it's only a few dollars, but you can get by without it. Just be forewarned that Crunchyroll doesn't play nice with these types of apps. How shocking. Anyway, it'll allow you to cast footage from less official websites, lock your resolution, change the playback speed, forward and reverse with controls that aren't clunky as hell, and even customize the look of your subtitles. Just don't expect every website's subtitles to be without formatting or special symbol issues. I'm not claiming it's perfect, but it's certainly feature-rich in ways Crunchyroll, HiDive, Netflix, etc. could never dream of being. Before wrapping things up, you might be asking, why pirate anyway? What are the real benefits? Isn't it just inconvenient? Well,
not that I would know about this.
First off, no. It's not nearly as complicated as people make it out to be. It just has a slight learning curve, no different than any of your other options.
And there's a lot of benefits to that. 1, it's free. 2, it's more convenient now than actually subscribing to the streaming services because everything is so splintered and shot off into all kinds of different places. I talked about this in the last video I made, but best example is the one Donkey gave about trying to watch all of Pokemon. You try and watch the entire Pokemon series.
For Pokemon, there is a website that tells you how to watch this.
You start off on Netflix, then swap over to the Pokemon streaming service, which is the only place that has Season 2, then swap over to Prime Video for Seasons 3 through 5, swap to Freevee, then Hoopla. Season 13 is only on Amazon though, then swap to Tubi, then Hulu, then Roku channel, and then finally back to the Pokemon streaming and then Netflix.
Easy.
The convenience line is really just another marketing lie that doesn't mean much of anything, even if people have come to accept it through what can really only be described as mass delusion.
I call this piece advertising. Quality, values, style, service, selection, convenience, economy, convenience, convenience, convenience.
Piracy isn't as dangerous as people claim either if you just wear protection, as I have taught you to do. If you click on a website and all your extensions and antiviruses start screaming at you to go back, and find a better option. Just don't act like an idiot and your computer will be perfectly fine. Secondly, there's no DRM, so your downloads will never suddenly disappear just because some company decided they don't care what they owe you anymore.
My idea of game preservation, I know companies want you to think it's buying the Blu-rays, buying the DVDs, buying the discs, buying the PS5 discs and keeping them in your closet. That's not real game preservation. Real game preservation is backing it up onto hard drives, backing it up onto servers, sharing it, pirating it, as some people would say. It's like digital replication infinitely, you know, and then storage,
that's
hard
a pretty good
storage.
argument.
Well,
Yeah,
it's true.
I think the key issue.
But
you're right. The key issue just being that the creators can't like remove it from a store one day and you can't get it anymore. That I'm sure is the core issue that most people want to avoid.
Yeah, but there's a market incentive to take that issue, which is a core real issue, which I discussed, and then say, here's the solution. Buy the Blu-ray. Here's the solution.
That's a very interesting
Buy
point,
this
never really
physical version of the game. And there are people in my audience, I'm not nothing against them, I'm just saying, who literally will never buy digital versions of games, even if they want that game. They'll sit and wait, sometimes years, for the physical version to come out. You don't have to do it yourself. Just get the digital version and then back it up. Back it up on a hard drive. Yes, you're going to have to hack things and pirate things, as some people may say. But time and time again, history has shown those are the people who really preserve things. Not the guy who has PT on his PS4 in his living room. It's the guy who...
that's me. I've got PT on my PS4.
Yeah, but the guy who jailbroke his PS4, got PT off there, digitally backed it up, and spread it across the internet. That guy preserved the game. Explosion.
You'll also of course have access to shows that simply aren't available because they're unlicensed. Whether you download or stream, you'll have access to countless playback features that simply aren't available on any of your streamlined official services. Many folks blame legalities and licensing issues for these lacking playback features, but a few of those same features are actually available on both HiDive and YouTube, so don't take those people seriously. Your only real drawback is that sites like Crunchyroll usually do have slightly better video quality than most unofficial websites. With that said, if you pirate, you'll literally end up with better quality if you just download quality rips. Ever been frustrated with the lack of literally any proper way to watch Dragon Ball Z, with its original aspect ratio, grain intact, proper color grading, and your choice of audio? Well, there might not be an official release for that, but there is a torrent.
Not that I would know.
You'll also often end up having options to download corrected subtitles as well. You can also of course figure out if you actually like something before buying it. Wow, what a concept. Anyway, my favorite local player for downloaded video files would be MPCHC and VLC. There are of course many other options you're free to research, including a few software forks the wonderful folks around the internet have developed to continue updating newer versions of the once abandoned MPCHC Classic, for example. Truly a mystery how passionate fans always seem to be capable of solving issues multi-billion-dollar companies can't, whether it's a feature-rich player or a proper release of a show. It's almost like they're dumping all their money into buying up IPs and bullshit marketing campaigns instead of improving their products, services, and features. But maybe I'm just losing my mind here. As a wise man said in his better days, piracy is almost always a service problem. Like many, as this event has washed over us all, I also couldn't help but be reminded of those other infamous words. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. Happy with your DRM, happy to buy the same products over and over again, happy to experience them in the most controlled environments possible, happy to pay someone to take them away from you, happy to have no options, thankful for it even. Oh, those glorious duopolies and streamlined experiences. Now I can find my anime all in one place. The list goes on and on. That's exactly what these companies want, and they'll do everything they can to convince you that it's what you want too, that it's convenient, a win-win for everybody. It's not like you have countless other equally convenient options with even more features. One of the main reasons they want this ignorant misunderstanding to stand with consumers, as the video game industry has proven over the years, is that they want to be able to sell you the same products over and over and over and over again. And many will just keep buying them. I'm guilty of it myself. But folks, let's at least try to have some self-respect in this regard. Here's hoping that we find a way to maintain our dignity as consumers and lovers of art. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If it was useful, maybe consider showing some love down below and helping me get a little closer to 1,000 subscribers. Peace.
It always amuses me that so many people seem to think that bullshit only comes from certain sources. You know, advertising, politicians, salesmen. Not true. Bullshit is everywhere. Bullshit is rampant.